Hey there, today's video is going to be about how to put a reed on a saxophone mouthpiece the right way. And then later on, I'll show you some wrong ways and how that can affect your sound. Because most of the time when I see kids or adults in lessons, the number one mistake with all their squeaks and squawks is that the reed is not put on right. So it's super important that we put this on right. The first thing you want to do with a reed, though, is get it wet. And when you put it in your mouth, you want to make sure that you're not sucking on it like a lollipop or a piece of candy, because it'll cause the tip of the reed to get waves. And if the tip of the reed has waves, then it's not going to play right. You've basically trashed the reed. So you just gently put it in your mouth and get some spit on it. It takes about a minute, so it's longer than what you just saw me do. My reed is already wet. I've been playing today already. You also want to get the bottom of the reed wet. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow the reed to stick to the mouthpiece. It's a little bit easier to handle with the reed already sticking. It's going to create a better seal too, so there won't be any air leaking out. So when you put this reed on, I'm going to get a little closer so you can see. So when you put the reed on, you want to make sure that the reed is even with the top and it's even with the sides, and there'll be a little thin black line across the top. So even with the sides, so it's centered, and it's even with the top, and if it's even with the top, there's a little black line that goes across the top. So when I have my reed on correctly, that is what it's going to look like. So when I have my reed on correctly, then I can put my ligature on, and you want to gently drop that ligature down over. You want to be careful not to hit the tip of the reed, because if you hit the tip of the reed, you're going to break it. That's why we don't want to touch the tip of the reed with our fingers. We're always touching the sides. We're never touching the top. If we touch the top, we're going to break the reed, and you're just going to trash your reed. It's not going to be any good anymore. When I have the ligature on, my reed, remember, is centered, even with the top, thin black line. And this ligature is just below the curve in the reed. You can also see that the ligature is on the main part of the barrel of the mouthpiece. So I know that's on correctly now. So when I put my saxophone together and I go to play, it's going to sound great. So I'm going to play the G scale, and that way you can hear how it sounds with the reed being on correctly. So it has a really nice sound when that reed is on the correct way. I'll do that again. So now what happens if for some reason I don't put the reed on correctly? Let's say I have the reed up too high. So what would that look like? That would be with the reed up too high. All right, so this is what it would sound like if the reed is up too high. I'll play that same G scale. So you can see by my face, it's really hard to blow. The reed is just not vibrating right. And what happens if I put the reed on way too low? So I've got the reed on too low. You can see that's a lot of black between the reed and the tip of the mouthpiece. All right, so let's see what this sounds like. I'll play the same G scale so you can compare. my face, I am blowing my guts out. It takes a lot of extra air to make a great saxophone sound when that reed is way too low. So another way of putting this on wrong is if the reed's not centered. You can see it's over that way too far. There's a big space here. So I'm going to put my saxophone together and I'm going to play that same G scale with the reed to the side. So it's a very uncomfortable way to play. It takes a lot of air. You could actually hear the air moving through the saxophone. It was just a nasty sound that I got. And it did take some extra air to blow, not as much as when the reed was down lower. So now I've got the reed put on the right way again. So even with the sides, even with the top, and I'm going to play again. And it should sound excellent again. So the reed is on the right way. The saxophone sounds awesome again. That's why it's important that the reed is put on the correct way. I hope this video was helpful. Make sure you put some comments down below. And if there's something that you'd like to ask me, or if there's another topic you'd like me to cover in a video, put that down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. Also hit the notification bell. That way you'll be sure to know when the new videos are coming out. Thanks for watching.